Alarm goes off, he's awake, he's up and it's only 2 o'clock. Go back to sleep, Mum says to me, but I'm awake, no sleep for me. A brand new day, but the routine's the same. This is our life, no one's to blame. A trip into town doesn't make it any better. People stop, stare, whisper and utter. I hide in my hoodie and disappear. Why can't people just accept him without their faces showing their fear? The anger, the frustration, the emotional drain, consistent battle to not be a pain. It's hard for me to watch this struggle, as every day he lives in his own bubble. My mum, my dad have so much to do. Sometimes they forget I am here too. Respite is a word that means so much. My time for mum and dad to concentrate on me. I plan an event, a place to go, then it gets cancelled and I'm back in his shadow. But he's also their son and he's my big brother. Would I replace him for another? Not for a second, a minute, an hour. I'll be his rock, his strength, his tower. I'll be his friend, cuddle him when he's stressed, even help him to get dressed and undressed. 'Cause he's my brother and I know he's a pest, but I love him to bits 'cause he is the best.
Chef or work with young kids?
Well, I'd love to be a classroom assistant, but I'd do that, I'd like to pass English, Maths and Science because, I think they're the 3 most important subjects.
Well, when I was younger I was to be a paleontologist, something that I've been told I'll never be, but apparently I'll never be at the level able to go that far. However, I do know the theory behind it all, and I'm a huge part of Darwin.
What is it you want out of life?
I don't know, I wanted to, I don't know, keep on changing my mind all the time.
Right. What would you like to do when you leave school?
Well, I don't really know. It's either something to do with art or gaming.
Job could be anything that in your mind you'd like to think, oh, one day I'd like to achieve that.
One of the things I'd like to do is at some point working with horses, a job with horses. Like maybe like helping to teach disabled riders.
I'm going to the Riverside College in September to do performing arts, so which is acting. So you might see my name on the, highlighted somewhere.
Pretty determined person, so nothing stands in my way. I'm not prepared to let my disability stand in my way of achieving my goal, which is to be a choreographer.
I'm planning on starting uni in September to do a foundation computing course at Teesside University.
Something to do with animals.
As in caring for animals?
Yes.
Where did you get that idea to do that? Where's that come from?
I just liked animals all my life, basically.
Well, what sort of things do you like doing?
Building, creating, things along those lines, I guess you'd say, but not very good at it, but...
That's what you enjoy doing?
Yeah.
Is there somebody that speaks to everybody in school about what they'd like to do when they leave school?
Yeah, there is Jana from Youth Directions.
Okay, and do you feel like the advice and support you've had has been good?
I think it's been useful, yeah.
Okay, and do you have any worries about leaving school and moving on to the next stage of your education?
I do think it'll be a little edgy, but I think I'll get there in the end.
Well, when I moved to the Sheraton building, there was a company called Connections, and Connections was in Stockton, and that got closed down, the Connections, and it got called something else, and I forget the name. And there was people that used to come out, like Mike Flood and all that. They used to come out, and they used to come and interview us and speak to us about our aspects, our aspects of what we thought was going to happen and things like that. And we did get a lot of support.
I had a careers advisor from college. The careers advisor came in and did some meetings saying, here's what you can do, here's what you get, and this is all the courses. It showed us how to use UCAS and how we convert our UCAS points.
So I went to a summer school in Northumbria as well. And yeah, they had a careers advisor as well, and they were always helpful, so yeah.
I was struggling, and Ruth and other carers and my mum, what they did, they pushed me to do something else. Says I have problems at college, it's stress at home, or I was kicking off at home, says it's loads of pressure.
When you first realised your child had a disability or learning difficulty, what support did you get, and how easy has it been to get this support?
Jack was only 3, and it was when he was in nursery. However, I felt that I didn't feel very supported, to be honest, at all. It felt like that I was doing all of the phone calls, and I was quite anxious actually, in the fact that things weren't working well where he was in the school that he was in, and things did start moving quicker after I started making threats, really, to be fair.
It was quite a lengthy diagnosis process for Josh. But once Josh it was identified that he was different in some way, we were referred to special educational needs provision schooling. He was also he did some work with speech therapists. So he was involved with so many different agencies. Although we had to kind of coordinate it ourselves, we felt we were supported by the local authority with the whole process. But there was a massive amount of work going on, to be fair. We've had continuous support right the way through, from Josh first accessing special educational needs schooling, going to special provision, right the way through to now. Now he's in college or about to leave college doing his exams.
It's been one long battle after the other. The diagnoses came one after the other with my daughter, from health, from hospitals, consultants, epilepsy, autism, learning difficulties, developmental dyspraxia. We then had to fight to have her put into a special needs school, because at the time it was primary school children, the state, she's fine, her behaviour wasn't a problem, we'll manage. They didn't. She's now in a college placement, it's a special needs course, but they've mixed children with a range of disabilities. My daughter has been bullied solidly for a year. The college's hands are tied because of all the procedures they've got to go through. It's just, everything is just a battle, a fight. You're just fighting all the time. When really, just because she's got all these problems, why isn't there somewhere that does meet their needs?
She was born Down syndrome. It was really quite good when she was little, yeah. From day one, more or less.
Has that continued as Sam's got older, in the same level of?
No. My theory with Samantha is that she's never been high maintenance or one that needed a lot of input from people. So she was left to go under the radar a bit. like a speech therapy. She was supposed to be getting intense speech therapy, and yet she's 20 and she still doesn't talk. I found as she got older, she was like passed away, if you like, because she wasn't needy, or I wasn't needy, or whatever. I feel that she dipped out on quite a lot of stuff.
I'm a bit worried about like getting work, because I think that even though, because I've heard of things happening on the news and stuff with where they try to get young people with disabilities work, and then what happens is, because I'm afraid it's true, because the government pay companies to take on special needs adults, as soon as the contract's finished, they just send them away again, and they don't keep them on. So they need something else to make sure that they keep these people on. Because I'm quite worried about that. I'm worried that I'm going to be discriminated against because of my hearing for any sort of job that I go for.
I would like to say, as soon as the young people turn 18, I found it very disturbing, the pressure put on to promote independent living, supported living. I think it's wonderful that that provision is there, should it be appropriate for each individual 18-year-old. But it's not right for every child. The panic it instilled in Amy, I've got to leave home, do I have to? It was just not necessary. She's got her own room, she's happy at home, even with her brother, and you know, for her, the thought of being told, she obviously takes everything literally, well I'm 18, I'm an adult, that wasn't right for her, and the pressure put on them to be independent, and it's not right for every young person. Some people, Amy doesn't have the desire to be independent. If she had, I'd support her all the way and look for but this is forced on them, and it just adds to the turmoil of leaving the school that they've been at for years, transitioning to like a college education, and then they're getting pressured about moving on and considering being independent, which I don't think it's for the authority to make that decision, because every family's circumstances is different.
I think what's helpful is because SNAPS, that's one agency that springs to mind. They're good at sharing information, what's available out there. There used to be one called Stockton Parent Support, which doesn't exist anymore because the funding ran out, which is a shame. Josh has a carer that we receive some funding for through the local offer grant. I don't know what it's called now, called Leanne, and Josh has known her for a few years now, and he knew her through Stockton Parent Support at Treehouse Club, can you remember?
Oh yeah.
And since then she takes him to the youth club. She has so much knowledge about what's available in the area in the youth clubs.
I find it relatively easy finding things on the internet, and also through Kiora Hall, where Rocky attends on a Wednesday evening in the community centre. And I have contact with John who does run the Kiora Hall project. And I work with Reach Out Care so that all the children can sort of access different topics, and we've had days out with Reach Out Care, which the children have enjoyed immensely. So really, I find the fostering agency really helpful, and they make sure that we do have an enjoyable time and reach our goals too.
I find out a lot through SNAPS, and I also get the emails from the Stockton United for Change, which gives you a wealth of information, so that's where I generally get all my information, really, what's in and around Stockton. Jack's progress in areas where he felt quite anxious before of being helped, like really just outstanding. He's come on really, really well, and I don't think I question whether or not a year, because we've already been involved with SNAPS and stuff for about a year, and I think before I question whether or not he'd be at this stage now had we not joined in with some of the activities and things like that, because everybody's just so understanding about everybody else's child, and they're not judgmental at all, whereas if you go to kind of normal group sessions, I think you can get some people that they just clearly don't understand your child's needs because he doesn't look like he's got a disability.
I think special education needs schooling's come a hell of a long way, and I think it's very, very strong in parts. I think it needs to come a little bit further. I think the local authority, the youth service, I mean, where Josh comes here, he loves it. He loves John Green and he loves the staff and the volunteers who work here. I think Josh gets a lot of support from youth clubs, from the Five Lamps. He goes to a special educational needs youth club over in Thornbury, which is specifically aimed at children who have barriers, and that's a voluntary sector organisation. He also goes to other youth clubs as well, but I think all of this is contingent on you having transport and access to transport. And also it helps if you're able to express yourself and push for your kids.
I think Stockton have been really good. Tends to be better services when they're more complex, because then there's assessed needs, so you get your OASIS, you get your heartburn lodge and places like that, and direct payments. However, if your child has additional needs, the support and the information doesn't seem to be there because they don't quite hit the criteria for assessed need.
John would like to tell he's got some special equipment from school, haven't you? Go on then.
Well, first thing that I got was a sort of pen, and that helps me write a lot better. Some sort of like a finger spacer, with the finger spaces, a recorder to help me with my sentences, and then iPod. No, not an iPod. iPad.
And these were things that, like, with the difficulties.
I'm not finished.
Oh, sorry, June.
And a ramp.
For writing. These were some of the things, as I said, with school, because I felt we were supported by school. After discussions that we had about some of the difficulties John was experiencing, things that aids were put in that would help John. I did find we got support from CAMS when we went through the initial diagnosis. I found CAMS very useful and supportive with us in the respect of how they dealt with us, and I didn't feel intimidated or anything like that. So that was very useful, and psychiatrists and all the professionals involved. Perhaps the multidisciplinary team, that's useful in the respect when you do have all the agencies working together, which is part of the SEN reform plan, so I hope that does develop and does manage to be implemented.
What do you think's the best thing about having somebody to take? Is it so that you get to do all the things?
Yeah.
Because if there wasn't Bernie or anyone to take you out, who would take you out?
Nobody.
So it's important to have a carer to be able to let you do the things you like to do.
Yeah.
The decision makers don't know anything about our young people when they're making these decisions, so they're not at the grassroots level. They're at steering, they're at strategic level, and that doesn't always work. And I would love to do some training around what it's like spending a day in our life, so that they are aware when they're making these decisions, the impact that that decision's going to have. And when you cross over into adult services, there isn't a lot of the services out there, but there isn't the information on those services that are out there in one place. And part of Stockton United for Change is ensuring that parents don't have to go through the same things that we went through 20 years ago, and things do move on and it's easier to access things that you need. We are quite fortunate in Stockton, but I don't think people actually appreciate what Stockton does have compared to other areas.
Every child their needs are unique. There is not one rule that will fit all. They don't fit neatly into this category, that category, to be allocated this sum of money or that sum of money, or they can access this, because they don't.
If Stockton could do something to improve anything, in your opinion, for children with special needs, what would be some of the key things they could change to make life better?
Yes. I want I want Stockton. In my eyes, I want the teachers, staff to sit down, yeah, and have a meeting with the other teachers and find out what stages with the ability of with the children. They need to split it in half and say this person not want help, this person can do it on their own, this person can need help, tiny bit of help, and one person needs very help.
I don't know if you could have someone like a support worker or someone like that when you were going through the process who you could contact or something. I relied really on other parents, really, the voluntary section.
What would I do to change some things? Maybe like get a lesson about from the student's point of view. Maybe that would be a good idea. Maybe put more places up that have transport, for one. Maybe get a couple more people involved so they know what is like around to either A, do or B, like learn a bit more about disabilities and stuff. And try and tone down the looking at people for just because they've got a disability. That would be something I would do.
Is it important that they listen to what you want?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're listened to a lot of the time?
Yeah.
Who listens to you the most? Who do you talk to the most?
My mum.
And when it comes to decisions about your life and what's important, whose voice should be heard the loudest?
Mine. The person who wants it. The person who can't explain it. But whoever it is that they're trying to control their life of, it should be them.